Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wake Up Everybody series on Facebook. Greetings. Just come on and just sit down, have your coffee, and we're having a conversation. It would help if you had paper and pen, so because there will be things that you'll need to write down. And then if you have a little journal, that'll be good because there will be material that you could journal. So just come on in, grab a seat. This is Mother Amal.
Keep speaking, and I'm going to admit Zoom right now.
Okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and greetings, Grand Rising. Salaam alaikum. Oh, Hotep. I think those are all the salutations. Just come on in. This is Mother Amal. Come on in. We've got some stuff to cover today, this
Peace
morning.
and blessings.
Peace and blessings to you, my sister. Just come on in. Listen, go grab you some water or tea, whatever you need, and some paper and a pen. And if you journal, bring the journal because there will be things that you can journal because we're going to be taking a deep dive into this subject of post-traumatic slave syndrome. We're going to call it PTSS.
Good morning, Mama Mom. So
Good morning, darling. How are you this morning? And
I'm
welcome,
good.
welcome. Welcome, everybody. It's time to get up. I don't think you want me singing this morning. Just come on in, grab a bottle of water or a cup of tea, or if you're fanciest coffee, do that too. A pencil and paper and or a journal. But just come on in and be ready. Hold down your seat. We're going to take a journey this morning. Just come on in. Come on down. Jump in the big pool. We got some healing to do today.
Mama Amal, is there anything that they would need? Pen, paper?
I'll tell them again. Yes. Bring your pen, paper, water, tea, coffee, journals, and bring an open heart. I think that is the most important thing. Bring an open, generous, and receiving heart. Because there may be things that I'll be sharing with you that you're not even aware of or that you may not necessarily embrace immediately, but just bring an open heart and know that you are here for a reason. You are here, and whatever I'm serving up, you're ready to receive. So just come on in. You are my special guest today on this train this morning. Just come on in.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, together, we're learning, discerning, we're striving. Together, together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together, together.
Come off mute, Mama Amal.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'll repeat this again. It's great to see you all in the house. This is Mother Amal, and we are going to unpack and talk about post-traumatic slave syndrome. So, usually now when I do a conversation, I like to have everybody on the same page. So just in case there's any discrepancy as to what that is, I'm asking Charmaine, can you show the first slide? And give us a minute. All right, post-traumatic slave syndrome. I'm going to actually read this slide. Let me do that. Yeah, hit the next one. Is defined as a condition that exists when a population has experienced multi-generational trauma resulting from centuries of slavery and continue to experience oppression and institutionalization. Oh, I'm sorry, institutionalized racism today. That was a mouthful. The bottom line is that we, in our story, or our ancestors experienced enslavement, shackles, slavery, and the effects of that has trickled down in through generations to where we are today. One of the books that was written by Joy DeGruy, she is a psychologist, and she in 2005 she wrote the book Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. It just recently came to my attention. Who was it? A friend of mine said, "Oh, we're reading this wonderful book, and it's really soul searching, and really gets to my heart. And we're doing a book study." Then another one of the sisters in the church said, "We want to get this book to do a book study." So it came to my attention about this. So with Joy McGrew, she talks about, and I'm going to read this. In this book, the author cites relevant patterns of behavior in African Americans that has direct linkage back to the mistreatment as an enslaved people who develop extraordinary survival and coping skills. It is said that it is an important subset to cultural poisoning, is very necessary to the improvement of our cultural health. And then, so I, in just researching what Joy is talking about in the healing end of it, because that's what we're talking about, the healing part of it. She says that it's a mind thing, that as people, we need to come together, group together, and actually work through that effects from a mind standpoint. Now, I also researched another book, Grandmother's Hand. It's written by Resmaa Menakem. Resmaa Menakem. He's a family therapist. His approach is healing the syndrome through the body. And he states that we can't heal trauma without understanding how it works on the human processes. He cites he devotes a whole chapter to the vagus nerve. And he said that the vagus nerve, or he coined that the soul nerve, is where we have feelings of hope and dread, fear, empathy, anxiety, disgust, despair, and many, many other of the emotions. And he said that we have got to safeguard our bodies against that kind of trauma on our bodies. And then Nahisi Coates, in his book, Between the World and Me, he writes, racism is a visceral experience, that it dislodges brains, blocks airways, rips muscles. And he also cites that it's on the body as well. So it was interesting also, and I ran with this one, that in an article published in the Journal of Black Studies entitled African American Health and Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, a Terror Management Theory Account. Terror management theory. He relates to the PTSS, is what we're going to call post-traumatic slave syndrome. PTSS as a cultural trauma, which we already know. I mean, these things I know we know because this community is aware, but I'm just bringing it to your attention as we move into the part that I want to share. So PTSS, he says, is a cultural trauma. He defines it as a state that occurs when a people's cultural world view has been destabilized to the point where it does not meet its terror management theory function of providing a buffer against basic anxiety and uncertainty. It outlines how the impact of slavery was a significant trauma to African American people, which has carried forward to successive generations, providing an explanation for their current anxiety-related conditions, poor health, maladaptive behavior. So I looked up, I said, well, I wasn't going to go any farther than this because I really didn't want to get too deep into the syndrome as such. Because as I said, as we're getting older, we start understanding what that effect of we start understanding that there was a generational effect of slavery. But I looked into terror management. They call it TMT. And it says it's a dual defense model that explains how people protect themselves against certain concerns about death. And it is a main motivation in human behavior. Now, let me paraphrase that in my understanding. And I did not realize this. That's why I'm glad I looked up this terror management theory. In our community, because of the things that we experienced, there was never a level of safety. We all knew that eventually we were going to get hung or get shot. We were going to be, we weren't going to be safe in our communities or in our homes. And our threshold, I'm going to call that a threshold, our terror management maintenance threshold is real low. We are we feel mistrust. We feel that our life expectancy is low. And there's no safety in the community. We can't trust the outside communities, and we're barely trusting ourselves. Now, so I was thinking, okay, it's a characteristic or a behavior that PTSS that we experience through PTSS, and I'm thinking about remember the old movies with Stephen Fetcher and the Little Rascals, and their eyes were always bugged, and every little noise they jumped. That's one of the characteristics of PTSS. Our deep belief in God, that it seems like that was the only thing that we really had was our church and our deep belief in God. And I'm not qualifying whether anything is bad or wrong. I'm just saying that was our maintenance that we put in place, our church. So let's take a minute now. Can any of you think of any other behavior? Another thing I remembered a young man saying, and I'll get to your response. A young man telling me, in fact, several young men, well, I'm going to live hard and fast because I know I'm going to be dead by 25, or I'm going to be dead by 35. And to me, that is another example of the effects, the trickle down effects of PTSS. So at this point, is there any yeah buts or any, I know what you're talking about? And can Charmaine, can you call on someone if everybody's still asleep or maybe something got by them or whatever? Can you call on somebody to respond?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh,
I would like to call on Darlene Dufour. If you can come up mute and if you can share with us what what you know about PTSD or anything that Mama Amal has brought to us.
Y'all caught me off guard.
But tell me
my whole name. Okay. But only my mother used to say that. You know my whole name, I'm in trouble. Okay. I don't know. It just brings back to me. I can't put my video on right now.
That's okay.
Yeah. It just brings back to me the whole idea of thinking about this trauma as generational. And a lot of time for other groups, they talk about it, their trauma as being generational. And for us, when they see certain behaviors, they just think that we're acting out of character because of something that happened now and not looking at, the tremendous trauma that we experience and that we continue to see over and over again in new forms. It's the same thing happening again, but, we're seeing it again. And now we're seeing it televised and we're seeing it over and over on a reel that's going over and over again. And that has to have an effect on us in terms of how we live every day and how we're feeling. And sometimes things that we can't put our finger on, I think is connected back to that old trauma that's being revisited every time we hear somebody being killed or something of that nature.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And it keeps that fear level.
Yeah.
That keeps that fear level there. The terror management is, I say, it's a low threshold because
I've
we
been
are
anxious. Yeah, I mean, since when this election was going on, and then even after it's over, because I keep seeing certain revisitations of we have to fight to vote again. What is this?
Yeah.
I thought that happened when I was a kid. That was done, but no, it's not.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate that share. Another thing that I forgot to mention, not only does PTSS affect our terror level, but because of the stress and anxiety, our health, not only our physical health and our mental health. I say that both, what's the brother's name that said that it was a body thing? I agree with him 100%. And even Dr. DeJoy's McGrew saying that it's a mental thing. I think it's all of it. And that and I appreciate them addressing it from that level. Is there any other comments out there before I move on? Anything in the chat?
Jacqueline says harshly cleaning our children. And I was just getting ready to add broken marriages.
Oh, yes, trust me, I'm going to get to that as well. And you're right. And Kenyofa, when I first heard your account of ACEs is right up in there. It's that traumatic effect of trauma in our younger kids. And it seems like as the generations go by, if some kind of way we can stop that line of attack on us, on our community, if we can stop it, then as we move to the younger generation, it could be stopped there. But because of our trauma from a group level having filtered into our families, then our families are the ones that perpetrate whatever the trauma is to our children. And that's the way it's perpetuated as well. Do you get what I'm saying? Does that land for everybody?
We're done.
Yes, it does, Mama Amal. And if I can add,
Mhm.
as I'm listening to you, it's taking me back to that Willie Lynch letter
Mm.
where, he came and he says, oh, he smelt the stench of death and asked, why are you killing your prophet? You don't do that. What you do is you train them, is what you do. And you take the male, just as you would a horse, and you beat him down in front of the woman, and she would then in turn, just like you give the pony the apple and he eats, she would in turn do the same to her children. And especially her boys, she'll grow up her girls to be independent and tough, and her boys, she'll grow them up to be very close to her, like what we call mama's boys. And I can see that today, that fear from since with that letter trickling all the way down, and still today as women of color, whether it's brown, yellow, green, whatever our color is, we have a fear with our children out there in the streets. We have that fear.
Absolutely. All of the above. And it was the whole thing was almost masterful. But I want my conversation is from a spiritual level. And the reason why I am bringing it up from this level is because we can look at the whole kit and caboodle, the whole thing in a different way. So, moving right along, I want to introduce to you the word transformation, and in particular, spiritual transformation. Now, some of you might say, what the heck does that have to do with this conversation? Let me explain. So what a transformation is, it's a thorough and drastic change in a form, like alchemy. You remember back, well, I don't know if you remember, but in the 18th century, I believe it was, or 14th century, whatever, back when they were trying to figure out, the world, period. The chemists, the scientists thought that they were able to transmute or transform simple metals into gold. And they called it alchemy, and they worked with that for a long time. Well, in a work called the Kabbalion, they talk about spiritual alchemy. And that's what this conversation is going to be about. Our spiritual alchemy, our moving from being in this world, being of this world, or our movement from not being of the world, but being in the world. And being in the world, we're learning. I'll give you examples of that a little later. But so we're talking about spiritual transformation. Now, I want part of this conversation is my walk. The Egyptians found that not quite yet. The Egyptians used a metaphor that showed that humanity went from the light to and through, fell into the dark, through the dark, and eventually would come out into the light again. And I'm here to tell you that that walk is called mastery. Now, how do we get to mastery? Well, we get to mastery through self-mastery. And then from self-mastery through spiritual transformation, which because as you become masterful, you can with the things to bring about self-mastery, you become spiritually transformed, and then transformation leads to mastery. And how do we do this, Amal? I mean, you threw in some spiritual transformation, self-mastery. What is all that about? Okay. And what does that have to do with PTSS? I want to tell you my journey from the dark to the light. It was back in 1973. I call that the dark days of the soul, of my soul. Now, from the outside, one would see me, a young woman in my 30s, with a husband and 2 children, living in a nice house in a nice community of like-minded, people, because we were all African Americans, young, with young families. And you would think, she got it made in the shade. Inside, that PTSS ate me alive. I didn't feel that I was worthy of anything. I felt guilt for some of the things that I was doing, because I was really out there. I was doing my thing. You hear me? Even being married, I was doing my thing. And I felt guilt for that. I was a good Catholic, good Catholic. I felt guilt about not being a good Catholic. I'd stopped going to church, and I did something that I was so ashamed of, that I thought I shook my head at the dark and said, why am I Black? Why am I going through all of this, and Black too? God, what? Why? It was such a dark period of my life, but that little spark of divinity that was in me had me then listen to a friend of mine who said, you got to go to this church. So I don't remember, from the deed that I did to feeling the, what do I want to say, to feeling the lowness of the guilt of it, and not wondering why I'm Black and having to go through all this, to entering in that church. I don't know what span of time that was. I have no idea. In my mind, I saw it, bam, bam, and then I was sitting in the church. When I walked in the church, the lights were bright, and the minister was talking, Jaramogi was talking, and it was like he was waiting for me. He was talking to me. And I thought, oh my God, I immediately joined the church. I don't think I even passed go. In my Monopoly, to collect my $200, I immediately joined the church. So in the church, number one, we were told that the shackles on our ankles was may have been gotten off. We don't have those shackles on our ankles anymore, but we have those shackles in our minds. And quite frankly, having joined the church, working in the church, and I think I was in there about 10 years, I figured those shackles were not on me. So, he ain't talking about me. I mean, he was in the beginning, but now I'm doing this work. He ain't talking about me. And the group was the center of the whole community. So each person was in the group, was part of a group. The group standards were high. I was struggling to keep up with those group standards. And today I realize it was because there was something in me that needed to be worked out. There was something broken in me. And because I wasn't able to live up to the standards of the group, I felt guilt for that. Because I wasn't able to stand up to the group, to the norms of the group, I felt that there was something wrong with me mentally. I must be crazy, or I must not be smart enough. And so from the group level, it wasn't working for me. I needed something a little bit more. I needed something a little bit more to heal what was going on inside of me. And the group's purpose was to build a nation that was strong with power. In fact, we had a song that build a Black nation that's strong with power. And when we sang that song, we meant it. But myself, I didn't feel as though I was up to the task. Fortunately, our minister introduced to us the science of Kua. And in the science of Kua, we were fasting and we were meditating. So one evening in meditation, we were sitting in a circle and had the candles burning. And I was concentrating on the candle. All of a sudden, a bright light hit me in my third eye and just totally encompassed me with light. And all I felt was love. All I felt was love. And that was the beginning. No, that wasn't the beginning. That was my next step on my path to enlightenment, my path to mastery. Give me a minute. I want some of you, I know some of you that have experienced that in your life, that moment when you knew that something had changed in you and that you became a seeker of truth, because you would not be in this community if that hadn't happened. Can somebody come on and tell me when that happened for you while I get myself together, because it's still an emotional part of my life.
And
Thank you.
Mama Mile, you're definitely welcome to be in the experience of the emotions, that you don't have to
Apologize.
push them away. They're with you.
Calling somebody for me, and I want to hear other accounts, because I know there are other accounts. And maybe,
Mama,
yes.
I'm going to relate the space with the comments that are coming in from Facebook. So Sienna Robinson says, well, she was talking about the PTSD and said, it's never been reconciled by this nation or by the world. So it continues to perpetuate unworthiness in our community, not worth the apology or payment for services rendered, i.e. reparations. But there's still a different level of fear for Black mothers and children, hence PTSS.
Yes.
And Lori Ayers Hutchison says, I love this talk about alchemy and transformation and mastery. That is the source of Black girl magic, internal transformation. And Jim McBean L says, this is so compelling.
Yeah. That's why, you know, when excuse me, when they took my 30 slides away from me, it made me realize that in this community, I don't need a guide for what I need to say, because all it would have been was just words on a paper. I needed to come from my heart with this, because I want you to recognize your walk and to be grateful for each step you take, and for every individual that, or every situation that is in front of you. Be grateful for it, because it's a stepping stone. Okay, so let me continue my journey. Is there any other more comments?
Yes, Mama. Thank you so much for your tears of libation. That's blessings. Wow. Jacqueline. Oh no, from Coach Cheryl is, I love where you are going with this, Mama Amal. Yes. Jacqueline shared, it also has created resilience because of the trauma of the violence, oppression, and discrimination. Some of us come out mentally strong. Some of us come out spiritually strong.
That's the gift. And that can be the gift for all of us. That it does not have to be a horrible thing that has beat us down. It is a gift that strengthens us. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Yes. Okay, well, let me continue my journey. We stopped off at my getting the light. Oh, that was just such a wonderful, everybody I saw, I just fell in love with everybody. I met people and just hugged them, and I can feel the light in them, meeting the light in me. I think that's what they call namaste. Just thought about that. May the light in you, me, meets the light in you. I saw that all around me. And so I wanted something a little more, a closer walk with God, if you will, because in Christianity, it's a Jesus thing. You know what I'm saying? And even though we saw Jesus a little differently in the shrine, it was still a Jesus as an what do you call it? In the middle between me and God. Okay. So I prayed and I asked Spirit, where do I go next? And Spirit introduced me to Islam. And through Islam, oh my gosh, it was, I'm telling you, my life, my heart opened up to Islam. I read books. I studied the Quran. I studied the anything I can get my hand on, the Hadith. I learned the Arabiya. And then I was blessed to be able to moved to Saudi Arabia and lived for 2 years, where I was there during Ramadan, and the camaraderie and the fellowshipping during Ramadan was just exhilarating. And then the adhan in the morning, you get up in the morning and the adhan is singing, radiating and echoing throughout the whole village. It was just exhilarating. And I grew from my experiences in Saudi Arabia. I stayed there for 2 years, having done Hajj as well as Umrah. So I am a Haji. And I did it the Hajj the hard way, carrying everything that I wore on my back. We didn't have a guide or a matawaf, they call it. We just went to Mecca. We lived in lean-tos. I did Hajj the hard way. It was hot. The food, we had food, but it wasn't a whole lot. We just slept on the ground in the mosque. We did it the hard way, but it was one that I could honestly say I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. So after I came back from Saudi Arabia, I don't know how, once again, whatever that little path that led me to my next point, I don't remember. I don't remember who introduced me, who said to me, you need to do this. In my mind, I just showed up at Landmark. And I know a lot of us have done Landmark. Now I'm talking about in the early 90s. Now in Landmark, I got to really start investigating what was going on in here that was affecting up here. And what I saw is, what they taught us is, this happened and this is what I made it mean. I was able to touch into that. And they tell us that it's not related, but they call it a vicious circle. So once I tapped into that and did some of the programs in Landmark, I came out of there confident, knowing that who I was fine, and I was strong mentally, and in my body, I was just exhilarated. I'm slowly climbing up that mountain. So in Landmark, one thing that I learned, that there were different levels of self. We have the individual level, which is you, me, we have our own yai, by yai, I mean our aura, our spacing, that inside that space, everything goes on, that is us. We have us as family. We have individual as family, which the dynamics of the family affects us. And we chose our family, actually. I'm going to get into that as well. And then we have the level of group, individual as a level of group, and then individual as a level of community. So when in realizing that, I understood now that the reason why being part of the shrine and being in a group did not work for me, because I needed healing on the level of individual. In the Bible, it says, let me find that quote. I think it's Matthew 33. It says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything be given ye. And then it says in Luke 17:21, the kingdom of God is within. That's where we need to go in order to heal whatever needs to be healed, and to find that kingdom of God, because it's within and among us, which means our brothers and sisters are also part of that. But each individual has to seek it from within. We are all made in the image and likeness of God, flat out, whole, perfect, and complete. There is absolutely nothing missing in us. So, and that is that spark of divinity that I talked about earlier, that spark of divinity inside, that there was a knowing from that spark of divinity that this was not all it is, that there is more out there, and that I needed to seek it. And that's why I became a seeker of truth. So now in 1999, I joined the Circles of Light ministry. And the Circle of Light ministry is where I got a lot of my tools. Some of my tools. I got some from Landmark from doing the whole curriculum, but from Circles of Light, they put it in a spiritual realm. They helped me to see that self-mastery was the path. And self-mastery is defined as the ability to control one's own desires or impulses. In other words, self-discipline. And one of the steps, or some of the steps to self-mastery is fasting, meditation, which were two of the steps that we took in the shrine. But prayer, exercise, and then in controlling our eating, what we eat, and being able to from time to time give up something, let something go. In Catholicism, they do it at Lent. You give up something. I think even the New Year's resolution, you're supposed to give up something, and the ability to and in doing so, it's helping you with self-discipline, and that's all well and good. But here's the hook. We are talking about the laws, that when you understand the universal laws, you can't go wrong. And I'm going to explain that further, but I'm going to take a time to stop right here. Let's see, I'm not sure about the time. Okay, we got a minute. I want to stop right here for some feedback. Let me have
Yes.
some feedback.
Thank you, Mama Amal. And Ia Robin had her hand up earlier on. Ia Robin, if you can come off mute.
Good morning, Mama.
Good morning.
Let me see. I look a mess, but I'm coming on anyway.
Anyway.
First of all, thank you for coming up here and sharing your story, sis. It's really good to feel you that way. I was high-fiving and relating to a lot of the things that you were saying. And I raised my hand when you started talking about that namaste feeling that you had, because that was my awakening and my introduction as well to the light. And I did not get, we walked, oh, I'm looking at me on TV, stop, y'all.
You look gorgeous.
We walked around in the church that I went to saying namaste, namaste, namaste. And I knew the definition of namaste, you know, the divinity in me salutes the divinity in you. And I would walk around saying that to everybody, but never embraced the concept or felt that until I went to a workshop called the Wonder Woman Weekend. And when I went to that workshop, not only did I experience namaste inside of my body, like you, I felt love all around me. And I felt that emotion that you have. It still comes up for me now, because it's like, you know, I'm not someone who gets high or who has gotten high like that, but I could relate to that feeling of somebody who said that first high is what you catch, because that was the most extraordinary, loving, I don't even have words for it. It's priceless, the feeling. So I just wanted to share and stand with you when you were sharing that moment, because that moment I've not had again. And well, I can't say I haven't had it again, but I haven't had it like that because I did not have a foundation for it the first time I experienced it. And that is what I seek when I seek the light inside. And that's what I also seek to offer when I'm sharing my light with others. And you are sharing your light with us right now. And I appreciate you. And just thank you. Thank you. It is good to see you in your role that you're in right now. You are a wise sage, and I totally appreciate you. And thank you for that memory, your memory that opened up mine. So
great. Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you, Ia. We do have a couple of responses here. From Facebook, Jem Glem, she says, when people bow to each other and say namaste, they strengthen each other's energy fields. This can be demonstrated using muscle testing. And then Jacqueline, who says, my mother is strong and she taught us to be strong. She is somewhat emotionally detached due to her British upbringing, but she instilled in us the belief that we were smart, intelligent beings who have the God-given right to exist and to expect to be treated as well as anyone else. The world tried to teach us otherwise. She made up, keep our heads up. But what I'm reading here is Mama said, keep our heads up.
Mhm.
We were taught to walk with pride. We were taught to question things. We were taught the golden rule. And she taught you that all humans are subject to that rule.
Thank you. Mhm.
Yeah, Denise West shares meditation and fasting is powerful for self-reflection. And then Coach Kim Yofu says, I remember that in church, and this is a response to Jacqueline. I remember that in church, Jacqueline, I grew up in Presbyterian as a child. I like that part. So what Jacqueline is saying is in the Catholic faith, we would greet one another and shake hands at the end of service. That was the part of the first service that allowed one to say, I see you, you are valuable and you are loved without saying the words.
Mhm.
And then
Thank
one more comment. Laura Clark says, yes, it's an inside out job, but society conditioned us to look outside of us for hope and salvation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, okay. All right. So, are we ready for the next part? Because this is a doozy. All right. So, you know, those, as I was saying, those practices that of self-mastery that's going to lead to spiritual transformation is only a part of our walk. So the next part of this conversation, I want you to keep your mind and your heart open. And I think I'm preaching to the choir with that statement because I know this community, but I'm reminding you, okay? Keep your heart and your mind open. And I'm going to be a quote from the Kabbalion. I briefly mentioned the Kabbalion earlier, and I'm not sure how many people are familiar with the Kabbalion, but it's a work, and I'll explain it. So one of the quotes from the Kabbalion is, the lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. And I'm asking you to keep your ears of understanding open for this next part. And is before I move to the next part. In fact, it's what 7:46. Okay, I'll explain the Kabbalion, and before I move off from there, then we'll have a commercial break, if you will. Okay, so the Kabbalion. How many of you have heard of the Kabbalion? Let me see. I put in the chat if you've heard of the Kabbalion. And Charmaine, I'm not looking at my screen, so I'm looking directly at my camcorder. Let me know how many people have heard of the Kabbalion.
Yes. Okay, so Popo says that she's heard it. Coach Cheryl says yes. Yeah, Robin has heard it as well.
I'm not at all surprised to the people that said yes. So the Kabbalion is a study of Hermetic philosophy. Now, we're talking about, back in BC, during the years of Christ, and so we're in the AD, like 5 or 6 AD. I'm sorry, I was in my research, I did not find out exactly when the Kabbalion was written and during what period of time in Egypt they're talking about. But what I can say is that they had a temple there, and learned men from all over the known world at that time would come to the temple. They would become initiates, and they would learn. And postulate and write and go through initiations to be part of what the Egyptians had. I'll just put it that way. I forgot. I'm not going to go into those details. I lose my words. But the Kabbalion is the study of Hermetic philosophy, and the reason why it's Hermetic is Hermes Trismegistus. Probably said that wrong, but it was Hermes who was the philosopher of philosophers, who was part of that time. And so the philosophy that came out of that was called the Hermetic philosophies. And the Hermetic philosophies of ancient Egypt and Greece, or let me say that again, the Kabbalah is a study of the Hermetic philosophies of ancient Egypt and Greece. Egypt was the birthplace of the hidden wisdom and mystic teachings. And from her secret doctrines, all nations have borrowed, all religions have borrowed. So I'm led to understand that Jesus, when he spent his time in Egypt, he was an initiate, and he was learning things and studying in the Egyptian temples. And when he finished his studies, he struck out, and that's when he started his ministry. Now, some of us call the Hermetic principles universal laws. Now, we've heard a lot of the idioms. Well, I have anyway. I don't know if they still say them. They probably do. I heard it from my grandmother and my grandmother's grandmother, and it's amazing how it carried right on down the generations. But what goes around comes around. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that, and that is from the law of cause and effect. You see it, you be it. The laws of mentalism. How about show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. That's also the law of mentalism. And birds of a feather flock together. The laws of vibration. And that's just to mention a few. Can any of you think of some other idioms that you've heard that of that nature? And if you can unmute and just say one. Or put it in the chat.
Good morning. Our father always told us, "Man is known by he keeps."
They always said what?
I think we might have lost her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anyone else? Oh, Coach Kenyoff who put the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Amen. Amen.
Yes. Denise West says, if you've seen one, you've heard. If you've seen one, you have seen them all. If you've seen one, you have seen them all.
Okay.
Jacqueline says, I've heard of some of the ones that you've mentioned. Darlene Dufour, I am because I am because we are. We are because I am.
Absolutely.
Darlene Dufour, I am because we are.
Jan McBean says, as above, so below.
Okay.
And Wendy Pierre says, one day for police, one day for thief.
All right. So these sayings were inspired. Is there any more?
No.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine. So these sayings were inspired. Say again.
There is one. I think Zakia is clarifying what Gina was trying to say. And the ends don't meet. So I've never heard that.
That's polarity. Oh yes, go ahead.
And then there's another one, the office of God. Robin is saying the office of God. Leaves no fall from far from the tree.
Okay. That's like the apple don't fall far from the tree. Yeah. Great. So you get the flow. So I'm saying that these sayings were inspired.
Ends justify the means.
Okay. Anyone else?
Okay. Jan McBean says, I think, therefore I am.
Yes, absolutely.
And Wendy says, what doesn't meet you won't pass you.
Yes, very good. Those are good ones. I didn't think about those. Those are good ones. Yes, absolutely. Well, I see it's 10:53. 53. So we got two. No, okay. I'll just go ahead and say right now, since I'm ready to go into the next part of this, and but I have to honor and respect those who have to go to work. Sorry, I'm retired. I love it. But please go out there, just be loving, leave here with the sense of that all is in divine order, and just have a blessed day. And thank you so much for joining me in this conversation. Unfortunately, you won't get, well, you can go on Facebook to get a recording of the latter part, because the latter part is important as well. So have a great day. And we shall meet again right here on Woo Nation. All right. All right. So, where fall the footsteps of the master, the ears of those ready for his teaching open wide. That's also from the Kabbalah. Now, I just want to tell you that there are 7 basic principles of Hermetic law. As I said, we call them universal law. And we use the word universal because it encompasses everything, everything. What the known world and the unknown world, it encompasses everything. These minds really, they were sharp back then, and they were able to write this down. I don't know how they got this. As I'm reading, I'm thinking, how did they know that? But anyway, so let us go to the 7 principles. Before I move on, are there any questions? Any yearbouts? Are you ready for the next part of this discussion? Everybody ready? Yeah, I know, Deepak Chopra. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, Mama Amal, I believe everyone is ready.
Okay, I'll take the first slide. Okay. The first universal principle, all is mine. Oh, not yet, take it back. All is mine, the universe is mental. I'm going to expound on that, on the first and second principles more in this conversation. The rest of them are, we'll have to do for another time. So you can make the next slide. The second principle is the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. As someone mentioned earlier, right. That was one of the principles. The next one, principle of vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves, everything vibrates. Principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Like she said, the ends don't meet. That's because it's on a pole. Everything has its pairs or opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degrees. Extremes meet. All truths are but half truths, or paradoxes may be reconciled. And I'll be quite frank with you, I am not sure what that means. I know the first 2 very well, and in doing this again, we will unpack the others. But let me move on. The principle of rhythm. Everything flows in and out. Everything has its tides. All things rise and falls. So in other words, this too shall pass. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. And then we have the principle of cause and effect. And this, I want to really, really emphasize this. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. So nothing happens by happenstance. This happens, and that's the result. Everything happens according to law. Everything. There's nothing random about anything. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for a law not recognized. And there are many planes of causation, but nothing, absolutely nothing escapes the law. And to understand that to the core is where life happens actually. Because where life happens, and we can get into that at another time. And then the principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has a masculine and a feminine principle. Gender manifests on all planes. Okay, we can come off slides right now, because as I said, we are going to deal with the principle of mentalism and exactly what that looks like and how that can be used in our lives. All is mind, the universe is mental. And I want to read this because I don't want to miss any part of this explanation. So it explains that the all would be God, however you name it, cosmic energy, the creator, Elohim, all of that, which includes, and the all includes the material universe and the phenomena of life, matter, and energy is spirit. And all the material the material senses is spirit, which in itself is unknowable, indefinable, but which may be considered and thought of as a universal, infinite living mind. In other words, spirit could be thought of as a living mind. And it explains that all of the phenomenal world, and remember that word, phenomenal world or universe, is simply a mental creation of the all, subject to the laws of created things, and has its existence in the mind of the all, and in which mind we live, move, and have our being. In the shrine, we used to say we live, move, and have our total being. So I said, remember phenomenal, because I'm going to unpack this a little bit. So when I looked up the word phenomenal, and in doing so, I found that there are two worlds. There is the phenomenal world, and then there's the nominal world. Now, I'll tell you, the nominal world is the world that God made. That would be the trees, the birds, the stars, grass, water, the earth itself is the nominal world that God made. The phenomenal world is a world that humans constructed out of human understanding. And that is so important to know. Out of human understanding. In other words, each one of us created or co-created our own phenomenal world. Mine would be different from this person, yours, Teresa, or would be different from Cheryl, out of our experiences as a human being, the walk that we've made. And my world is different now than it was when I was in the dark days of the soul. The world back then was dark, ominous. I was scared in it. I felt guilt and fear, and it was just dark. The world for me today is not that at all. So the phenomenal world is the world that we created. And the nominal world is the world that God created. Now, with that being said, when we look at the world through our own experiences and our own eyes, one good thing I can say is that if we don't like what we see, we can change it, and we can change our minds about what we see. And that is where our ability to co-create with God lies, in our ability to see the world in a different light. And I might say that this is where the PTSS can really get its healing, because I hope I said it, but if I haven't, I'm saying it now, that there's nothing accidental. Everything happens in divine order with the divine timing. And the fact that we went through slavery, and I might add that slavery was the construct of our own minds. The fact that we went through it, but we're not of it. And we're coming out on the other side, because what I know in this community, and especially, we are all gathering tools to be able to pull ourselves to a place where we know who we are, where we know that we're divine. So The world that we created, we can change our minds about it. And we can bless everything that is in that world that has given us inks, that has, created fear in us or whatever. We can see it as a gift and we can bless it. I want to take first of all, let's stop here. And I want to hear some comments about that. I want to hear some comments about what your world looked like before and what your world looks like now. And the understanding that we created that world. And we create on this plane, in the phenomenal world is where we create. And everything in the phenomenal world is what we put there. Like I said, hearts and minds open.
All righty. So I would like to ask Denise West, if you can come off mute and you can join this beautiful conversation with Mama Amal. Tell us what life was before and what is it now?
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
Can you hear me? No, I can't take my camera off, sorry.
You're beautiful, girl. Go ahead.
Yes, I was going with you when you said that we co-create the world that we in, and you did your transformation from what life was like before you and then afterwards. It's a mindset and it's a place of you wanting to be healed.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to be healed, if you don't recognize that you need to be, then you remain
in the dark,
in that world. But wanting to be healed and doing that deep dive, which is not necessarily comfortable, but knowing that you can, I used to saying, or one of my elders used to say, if God would bring you to it, he'll take you through it. And so knowing that there's hope on the other side. So even while you're in the valley, you can go through to the sunshine.
Absolutely. That's the walk. And can I explain that? Excuse me. When we chose to come down here from hanging out with God, we said, okay, I want to come down because I want to experience what it feels like not to be you. And we came down into the density of this planet that God created for us to be able to do this walk. When we came down here, we were on different levels. Every time we incarnate into this world, we incarnate at a different level. So the people right now who can't see it, don't understand it, they are in the darkest depth, and they're going to have to walk that path. They're going to have to walk that path until something changes or they die, and then they have to come back and repeat it. But we all have that spark of divinity in us, because in order for us, my understanding, now this is my understanding from my master teacher, is that there's stuff that we have to have to prepare ourselves to come down into this density, into this vibration. We have to slow our energies down. We have to slow our light down as we fall into the density of this planet, or this what do I want to call it? Dimension. This dimension. That's the word I want to use. This first, second, and third dimension. We have to slow ourselves down. And the only thing we've got going for us that does not completely have us, in my mind, I'm seeing splat and then being part of the dark. The main thing that we have, that we got from our creator, was that spark of divinity in us. And that sometimes it's a little more challenging when we really hit bottom to be able to pull ourselves up from that. But I didn't mention to you in the laws of created things. I did pause on that. In the law of created things, one of the laws said that we have existed in the past, we exist now, and we will always exist. So with that being said, that it stands to reason that this life is not the only life that we've lived, that we've walked through. This is just not it, and we die, and then whatever. This is just part of the journey, and that sometimes in a lifetime we don't get through the dark. So when we come back, we start where we left off, and we continue the journey. So everybody is at different places in their walk. They're in different places. I would venture to believe, and another thing, we travel in souls of 1,000. I think now is an excellent time to do this story that I want to relate to you. And I must say that this story also is something that, how much do I have time? Oh yeah, this story also is a place where that has me emotional, because it's such a beautiful story. And can I have permission to do this story? I mean, is there any other comment that I need to address? Was did something I just said not landing? Because I want you guys to be with me. What, are there any
Mama. No, they're with you, Mama.
Okay. All right. So this is the story. It's written by Neil Donald Walsh. I would imagine some of you might have heard of him. He did Conversations with God. And the name, it's a storybook that he wrote out of the things that God shared with him, channeled through him, that God channeled through him. And the name of the book is The Little Soul and the Sun. And in the beginning, the story starts out, once upon no time, not a time, no time, there was a little soul. The soul was just so excited. He ran up to God and he said, God, oh my, I know who I am. God said, well, tell me, little soul, who are you? I am the light. Oh, God was just so delighted. Yes, you are the light. And the soul was so happy because he had figured out what all the other souls in the kingdom was there to figure out. He figured it out. However, after a while, the soul got restless. Knowing who he was not enough. The little soul wanted to be who he was. So the little soul went to God again and said, God, now that I know who I am, how can I be it? God said, what? You want to be what you already are? You are already the light, my child. Yes, the soul said, but I want to see what it feels like. God said, there's nothing else but light. That's all I created. There's nothing that you are not. You are a candle in the sun along with gazillion other candles that make up the sun. And without the sun, without you, the sun would not burn as bright. But since you cannot see yourself as light, will surround you in darkness. Darkness? What is darkness? God said, that which you are not. Then God said, well, will I be afraid in darkness? God said, only if you choose to be. There's nothing really to be afraid of unless you decide there is. Because you see, we are making it up. We're making it all up. We are pretending. Oh, said the little soul. He felt better. God said, so you see, in order to experience anything at all, the exact opposite of it will appear. It is a great gift because without it, you could not know what anything is like. You couldn't know up from down, cold without hot, or now without then. And so when you are surrounded by darkness, do not shake your fist or raise your voice and curse the darkness. Rather be the light onto the darkness and don't be mad about it. Then you will know who you really are, and all others will know too. So let your light shine, that everyone will know you're special or how special you are. Soul said, oh God, you mean it's okay for everybody to know that how special I am? Of course, but special does not mean better. Everybody is special, each in their own way. Yet many have forgotten that. They will see that it's okay for them to be special only when you see that it's okay for you to be special. Wow, I can be special as I want. Yes, you can, God said. And you can start right now. What part of special do you want to be? What part of special do I want to be? Well, what do you mean? Being the light, God saying being the light is being special. And being special has a lot of parts. It's special to be creative. It's special to be kind. It's special to be patient. Can you think of any other way to be special? The little soul thought about it, thought about it. I know what I want to be. I want to be the part of special called forgiving. Isn't it special to be forgiving? Oh, yes, it's very special. Okay, that's what I want to be. I want to be forgiving. Good to God. But there's one thing you should know. What is that? There's no one to forgive. No one? No one. Everything I have made is perfect. There is not a single soul in all creation less perfect than you. Who then to forgive? Looking at the countless other souls that had gathered, the little soul agreed. Yeah, you're right. Because they had gathered, because they heard that there was a discussion between the little soul and God, and they wanted to know what that discussion was. So the little soul said, boy, this is going to be no fun at all. I want to know myself as one who forgives. I wanted to know what that part of special felt like. And for the first time, little soul felt sad. Then a friendly soul stepped up forward from the crowd. And the friendly soul said, not to worry, little soul, I will help. You will? But what can you do? Why, I can give you someone to forgive. You can? Certainly. I can come into your next lifetime and do something for you to forgive. But why? Why would you want to do that? You are a being of utter perfection. You vibrate with such speed that it creates a light so bright that I can hardly gaze upon it. Why would you want to slow down your speed that your bright light would become dark and dense? What would cause you to want to come into my life and make yourself so heavy that you can do this bad thing? And the friendly soul said, simple. I will do this for you because I love you. You have done the same for me. Don't you remember? Oh, we have danced together across all times and in many places, through eons and across many ages. You just don't remember. We have been the up and down of it. We've been the left and right of it. We've been the male and the female, the good and the bad of it. We have been victim and the villain of it. Yeah, we have come together, you and I, many times before, each bringing to the other exactly the perfect opportunity to express and to experience who we really are. So I will come into your next lifetime and be the bad one this time. I will do something really terrible, and then you can experience yourself as being one who forgives. The little soul said, but what will you do? Oh, we'll think of something. Then the friendly soul became very serious and said in a quiet voice, I will have to slow down my vibration and become very heavy to do this not so nice thing. I will have to pretend to be something unlike myself. And so I have one favor to ask of you in return. And the little soul said, and what is that? What can I do for you? You are such an angel for doing this for me. God chimed in and said, of course, this friendly soul is an angel. Everyone is. Always remember, I have sent you nothing but angels. What can I do for you? Said the little soul then. The friendly soul said, in the moment that I strike you and smite you, in that moment that I do this worst to you that you could possibly imagine, in that very moment, yes, said the little soul, yes, remember who I am. Oh, I will. I promise I will always remember you as I see you right here, right now. Good. Because you see, I have been pretending so hard, or I will have been pretending so hard, I will forget myself. And if you do not remember me as I really am, I may not be able to remember for a very long time. And if I forget who I am, you may even forget who you are, and we both will be lost. And the little soul said, no, no, I will not. I won't. I will remember you. I will thank you for bringing me this gift, the chance to experience myself as who I am. Any comments? Ooh, just remember who I am. Ooh, I know the person who came to you with the worst that can be done is an angel. For you to remember who you are.
Mama Amal.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say that we're here experiencing a rebirth of our souls, listening to you read to us. Many of us have said it in the chat that we just became children again. And then on top of that, such a powerful, potent story about never forgetting who you are. And it's just really beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for your emotions, your libations, as Shawnee calls them, of tears, has me tearing up as well. And I really can relate to your transformation story very, very, very much. Yeah. And the beliefs that you shared are truths in my world as well. So thank you so much for bringing that today, and bringing your light and who you are in the fullness. And it's such a wonderful, wonderful experience. So thank you, Mama Amal. I'm just thanking fans because my spirit is full just listening to you.
Yeah, thank you for that too. Because as you see, it still moves me. I think about the people that came into my space, that, you know, my mother, my dad, excuse me, and the experience I had as a child and what I made up in my mind about the whole thing. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for the bosses that I've had that I may have created my life to where I felt that I wasn't good enough, and that thank you for that. Thank you. In fact, I was able to go to one of my bosses and thank her for the part that she played in my life, because it elevated and raised my vibration to the point where I can actually say I love her, and that's what I can say about her. So if I can offer, if that in my experience, that as an elder, that I can relate that to you and you can relate to it and understand the path that you're on, the walk that you're making, everything is in divine order. Everything is there, is set for your salvation. That we are not making this walk from the light to the dark to the light. We are all going to win. We are not making it in vain. We're all going to win. And any malady that comes to us, know that this too shall pass. Lord, what is it that you want me to know about or learn from this experience? And we can say that prayer at any point. Meditate in the morning. I get up every morning. I've started and meditated. And these things have come to me through the meditation. I actually have a conversation with my higher self, with God. I actually have a conversation. And I'm telling you, when they took those 30 slides away from me, oh my God, I was saying, what am I going to do, Spirit? And Spirit said, you got this. Just come from your heart. Just come from your heart with it. Ooh, have mercy.
Mama Molly, thank you so much for coming to your heart with this.
Yeah.
And we do have 2 hands raised. And if Carmen Reyes, you can come off mute and join us in this beautiful conversation.
Morning, Carmen.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Very clear, honey.
Awesome. First, just thank you so much for this conversation. I was crying the entire time reading the story because just a couple of days I had a situation with one of my children and I lost my shit. I just lost it. And I'm like, God is big because I'm like, I'm glad I put my hands on them, you know, but the anger, the rage that just came over me. And, you know, I just had to keep reminding myself, like, I love my children, all my children, you know, and I don't want to pass harm to them and I don't want to hurt them. And I understand where a lot of the behavior comes from, you know. So when you were reading that, what I kept thinking about was like who I am and the light that I am and the love that I am, you know, and like this balance between being human and all the shit that comes up with it, right? Like just the anger, the upset, the happiness, the joy, and then the spirit that's like, Carmen, it's okay. It's okay. This is part of your journey, you know, and like reminding myself, like, I am love and I don't want to step away from that, you know? So like, it's like you was having that conversation. That's a conversation I was having with God yesterday. I'm like, what are you doing with me? What do you want me to do? And it was just like, just be yourself, just be love, be light, you know, and just do that. And reminding myself, you know, that I am here for a reason, even a reason bigger than I understand. So having that moment and listening to the story, it's like a reminder. Because even yesterday, I was like, if I had the chance to bring a child into this world today, would I do that? And I was like, I don't want to bring kids into this world. I already have them though, you know, but just reminding that there is love and there are angels and that they do show up and have these conversations. So you are an angel. Thank you for just truly sharing your truth and sharing that story, because I know like it spoke to the depth of my spirit. So thank you for that.
I'm glad it served you. But can I just say that you have no choice as to bringing someone in the world, really, because if a soul is ready to come and has chosen you to come, that soul, and that is the purpose that soul came down here to come through you. It's coming. You really don't have too much control over that. I know you can, you know, abort it and all that other stuff, but that soul is going to come on this planet through you if that's what its purpose is, or that's that soul's journey. That's all I can say. And then as far as that child, just hug that baby, the one that pissed you off to where you could have killed him. Like remember our mother say, I brought you in this world, I can take you out. That one, hug her, because that one has allowed you to come on this program and hear the words that I spoke, and to feel that in that which you're feeling right now. That child has done that for you. So that was a gift. If you understand, if you get my drift. But okay, who else?
Thank you, Mama Amal.
Yes.
Thank you, Carmen. And now we have Purple. Purple, if you can come off mute.
Hey, beautiful girl, beautiful sister. Hi, Purple. Morning. Oh, she must be frozen.
Yeah, I think she's frozen.
Okay, we can come back.
Oh, there she
there
goes.
You go.
Come off mute, Purple. Come off mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Absolutely.
All right, good morning. Good morning, welcome everybody. This was beautiful. I love a good storytelling. I always think it's good for my inner child or our inner children. with this story, it really helped me concentrate, or the part that resonated and got amplified for me was the person saying, never forget who I am. Like, I love you so much that I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to my low vibration. But they kept saying, just remember who I am, remember who I am. And that really helped me be present to what namaste is.
Yeah.
That part right there. It was kind of, even probably my ego self, or just myself wanting to be affirmed to be the light was cool. But it was really about that other person and not forgetting who they are and seeing them as divine anyway. That's a really new place today with the work that I'm up to right now. That's deep.
Right.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Well, it's 8:30.
Yes, Mama, it is 8:29. I don't know if you want to go through the last two slides that you have there.
Can I?
If you want to take,
I think it's kind of important.
Okay.
Okay. So it was mentioned, I think Carmen mentioned something about purpose. So I just real quick, since we're going to run through this next section a little swiftly. What do you think the purpose of life is? And I'd like just call on a couple people and say real quickly off the top of your head what you think the purpose of life is.
Okay, so I'm going to call on Laura Clark. Can you come on and share what you think the purpose of life is?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Take myself off camera. Thank you so much, Mama. I so identify and resonate with your story. It's so similar, but I'm so grateful for my dark nights of the soul.
Yes.
Taking me to hear and to listen to your wisdom. I'm so grateful. So I think my purpose is to live and love and do what I love best.
All right.
And serve humanity with a grateful heart. I'm complete. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. One more person, perhaps.
Yes. I see Theodora Cross. If she can come on and share what her purpose is.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Definitely, I'm not camera ready.
Okay. Oh, look at you. You're gorgeous,
and I have
girl.
to be moving, but this was so powerful, and it made me resonate. And all of the things that Wu has done for me in this last year, and brought me along. Wu is my namaste and my angel, and I thank you for your wisdom. Such a beautiful morning.
All right. Yes, indeed.
And I am complete.
All right. Okay, well, since we don't have a lot, anyone else would like to perhaps share what they think the purpose of life is? Purpose of creation?
I see a name here that I've not seen in this space before, and maybe the person was here before my time, but Hannah Young, if you can come off mute.
Okay, before you said my name, Spirit said, she's gonna call your name.
Do it every time, girl.
Oh, God.
And nothing accidental.
I'm still battling with that question myself in my own space, my own personal life. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay. Good answer. Good answer. Everybody, as I said, everybody is on their own path and moving at their own speed. And that is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Thank you, Hannah. So okay, so let's do the first slide. The next slide. So so this information is coming from my master teacher, Caroline Fuqua, Dr. Caroline Fuqua, in her book, well, Keys to the Kingdom, and the section of the book saying, as part of the impartial self-observation. And she asked the question of a group that she was facilitating, what is the purpose of life? You can hit the slide again. And the purpose of life, oh no, okay, let me go to the next one. Where's purpose B? Okay, a lot of them said the purpose of life is to love and serve. The purpose of human beings is to learn and grow. The purpose is simply for man and woman to experience joy and happiness. Hit the slide again. And I think it should say that is purpose A. Purpose B, I'm sorry. But purpose A, I didn't, and let me explain why we came up with purpose A. And we'll leave the slide up, but I will explain using as above, so below, as below, so above. So we remember that the second Hermetic principle of as above, so below, as below, so above. And we're using this principle to reason intelligently from the known to the unknown, studying the monads, which is the smallest units of life, to the archangels. That's the purpose of as above, so below, as below, so above. And we're using that in order to do that. So in answering the question about what is the purpose of creation, what is the purpose of life, we can use an example. So as humans, all through our existence on this planet, we've created things that made life easy for us. We created the wheel, then we created fire to warm us. Everything that we created was for us to be comfortable, to get able to get from point A to point B. And of late, we would look at, okay, we invented the automobile. And we needed the automobile, as I said, to get from point A to point B. And that's for our own convenience. So we didn't intend for the car to go off and do its own thing. I'm not going there. I don't like this color. I'm going to do my own thing. That was not why we created the car or whatever we created for our own easement, for our own pleasure. We created for our own purpose. Now, as above, so below. And if that holds so, if that holds true, then as above, God, who created us in his image and likeness, did not create us for our purposes. He didn't have our purpose in mind. He created us for his purposes. And his purpose was to move, was to create, was for us to be a clear and perfect channel for him to work in the world that we made up. What was that? The phenomenal world. Did that land? So God created us to be, in fact, go back to purpose B, purpose A, and it'll read. Yes. Purpose A, the next one up. There we go. The next, yeah. Purpose A, the purpose of humanity. The purpose of humanity is for us to become conscious of ourselves. And isn't that what we're talking about here? As a physical manifestation of God, the omnipotent, the omnipresent, the omniscient energy that is life. And that we become clear and perfect channels so that through all of our faculties, God may experience and create in the phenomenal world. That is the world that we made up, but because we're co-creators, he can't just come down and change things in the world that we made up, but he can work through us and create in our phenomenal world. Can you get the full impact of that? but I do anyway. I do. So that is our purpose. Now we can have purpose B, which is to enjoy our time down here and enjoy the things that created, and purpose C, whatever that purpose might be for our personal life, to be good moms and what have you. But our main purpose is to clear out all those barriers, to go through from the light into the dark, to work through, knock down all those barriers that come before us, remembering as we knock them down that they're gifts from God and that there's nothing but angels around us as we move through the dark back into the light. And that's the purpose of creation, and that is the path of humanity. And I am complete. Any comments?
Thank you, Mama Amal, for that beautiful conversation about finding that spiritual balance, finding that light, finding your true sense, your true purpose in this walk we call life. And there are some comments coming in. One second here, trying to get to the chat. It's a whole new world. And so Zakia shares, someone once said, we are God's chance to experiences that aren't experienced in perfection.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, Coach Cheryl says the purpose of life is to know thyself and connect with the Most High and observe all of the law in the highest degree. Jacqueline says, I feel like I have always known these things we are speaking of, and that I am becoming reawakened to the purpose.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, that's that little spark of divinity, that little spark that says, I know these things. But when you fall into the darkness, you forget. You don't know that you're just pretending. This is real for you. For us.
It is. And from Facebook, Kathleen says, the purpose of life is to give and receive love. Terry says, life purpose to experience and develop to my highest potential, We have another one from Laura Clark, to live and love. And then from Zakia, to spirit growth. Her purpose in life is spirit growth. Adam says, we have the power. Don't let the distractions stand in your way of your real purpose. Ashe.
Ashe. All right.
Once again, thank you so much, Mama Amal.
It was really my pleasure. It really was my pleasure. Even preparing for this had me actually walk through it again and realize some things, Life is just like an onion. You just keep peeling and peeling and just giving, because giving and receiving are the same thing. So keep giving, just keep giving, and everything will come back to you. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And giving and receiving is the same thing. So we can move to, okay, the special.
Yes, if you can move to our special offer.
Yes. So since I'm not established in anything other than what I know, I was a coach at Landmark, but I do coaching. So I'm offering 2 participants a complimentary 30 minutes. Let's just talk. 30 minutes, let's just have a conversation.
And Mother Amal, we have our 2 winners.
Okay.
The first number was number 5, which is Carmen. Carmen, if you can come up and mute.
Son of a gun.
Let us know if you accept.
I accept.
Beautiful. And the other number was number 10, and that is Jacqueline.
Excellent.
You gotta be kidding me.
Excellent. Excellent.
Wow.
Hey, Denise, that's who I was talking about, Jacqueline. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Jacqueline. You got, yes, yes, yes. Let's have a
Absolutely accept. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
So yes, I can be reached. You can go on my Facebook page, Carolyn Muhammad, parentheses Amal Muhammed. So you'll see all that. You can just call it up, and there I'll be in my glory. And then my email, I'll give you my Gmail address, is Carolyn Muhammad 4510@gmail.com. And actually I got a Twitter, and I've got the other one. And listen, I'm not up on all that stuff. I do have them. I have no idea how to get in touch with them. They just come up on my phone and I check them, but I don't know how to give out that information. So, talking to my age. And as I said, giving and receiving is the same. All money is just energy. My own, what is it? My own natural energy yield. That's all it is. And you give and then you receive. Sometimes tenfold you get back. So just give. And that was one of the barriers I had to get over as I was growing in this work, was the fact that I am not poor. I find that through my life, even when I was in my dark days, everything that I needed was provided, whether I knew where it was coming from or not. So I am gradually letting go of the conversation that I don't have enough. And I am freely giving. The more I give, the more I receive. And so that's my conversation about the love offering and donation.
Beautiful. And to give, you can use our panhandles, Zelle or QuickPay at soulleadershipdevelopment@gmail.com. You can Cash App at $Spirit of a Woman. Down at the bottom is the link, the HTTPS link. And then when doing so, you'll make sure you put code 343CM, and CM is for our facilitator or presenter today, Mother Amal.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so coming up next, so we was so blessed with Lori yesterday, and tomorrow is part 2. So join us tomorrow, Wednesday, the 9th, where we are going to divulge in mindfulness tools to combat stress and trauma, facilitated by Lori A.S. Hutchinson. And then join us on Thursday, where we are going to be blessed by Carmen Reyes. She is going to be divulging in living in between. And to the Wake Up Nation, for those who have been here for the first time on Zoom, those who are here for the first time in Facebook, if it's just your first day, your first week, your first month, we just want to salute you and tell you thank you for joining a community where we come to learn, elevate, and ascend. And this is our schedule. We are here Sunday through Thursday. We're here on Zoom, live workshops Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, our long sessions, which is from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Sometimes we go up above time, and this community is so generous that allows us to do that, so thank you. And then we have our short sessions on Monday and Wednesday from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. They are streamed live on Zoom, on Facebook, and live on Zoom. And in celebration of our 1-year anniversary, we got our own little swag, y'all. Woo swag, where you can get your t-shirts, you can get your mask, your coffee mug, or you're going for tea, whichever beverage you like putting in it. And hopefully we'll be looking at some pens and some other paraphernalia that has our logo on it. Wake up, everybody. So if you haven't gotten your Woo swag, go ahead and get it. Now that it's summertime, you can put on those short sleeve shirts and show off that we are waking up. And for those who want to stay in contact with us, this is how you do so. You can register with your bit.ly Wake Up movement. You can also join on Facebook, which is bit.ly Wake Up Everybody Community. And then we also have our Instagram page at Wake Up Everybody Virtual. And we're also on YouTube, which is the address bit.ly, Wake Up Everybody on YouTube. And if you have any questions, any comments or concerns, you can email us at info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. I'm going to take the slide down, and this is one of the times where we share our love, share our gratitude, our appreciation for Mother Amal, just as she's poured into us. Let's pour back into her. So I am going to ask for everyone to come off mute. And if you can just bless Mama Amal with that she has given.
Thank you,
Let's
thank
just
you, thank you,
Thank you,
thank you,
Mama
thank
Amal,
you.
for what you're doing.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the
Love your
divine
energy.
wisdom.
Thank
Love
you.
the energy for real. Absolutely.
And let's
Thank you
move
for
forward,
the
everybody. Y'all have
blessings.
a good one.
Thank you for the reminder of the importance of our history and its impact on our souls, and that we are in control and we can create our own views and experiences. Thank you for the reminder. Thank you for the knowledge. Thank you for pouring into us this morning. You are a beacon of light. I am Claire. Thank you, Mother Amal. Such a pleasure, such a blessing. Thank you.
My spirit and my soul. Love you so much.
Thank you. Love you too.
Thank you.